Hello everyone. So today we are going to perform another packet tracer activity. This one is 6412 and this activity name is configure the initial router settings, and in this activity we will have to perform three parts. And if we check the configuration items, so we have just one PC and one router, and this one is the activity. I'm just going to start with the new user. Okay, so in this activity we have to perform 80 points, and we have to complete three parts. So the first part is to just connect the PC with the router. So we have to choose the console cable, then we will choose the RS232 port on the PCA, and then the console port on the router R1, and we will connect this PCA to the router R1. And after make the connection, we will go into the PCA desktop terminal, and using this terminal we will try to access the router R1 CLI. Okay, so start with part 1, step number 1. If we go into the activity, these are two devices, we have to work on this. And if we go right here, these are the connections, and we have to pick up this console cable and then click on the PC, select the RS232, and then click on the router R1 and select the console option. Now this connection is configured. Now we will access this router R1 from the PCA using the CLI. Just click on the PC and then go to the desktop and click on the terminal. Okay, and the terminal configuration will be the default configuration. So the bit rate will be 9600, data bits will be 8, parity none, stop bit will be 1, and flow control will be none. So we will go with the default options. Just click on OK. And this one is the console output of the router. So we will just access the router using the console cable, this one, from this PC. Okay, this complete our step number 1. Now if we go down, step number 2. On the step number 2, we have to run this command enable, and after this command we have to run this show running command. Okay, so when we run this show running command, we will see the all configuration of the router, and when we see the configuration of the router, we have to answer the following questions, and these are the questions we need to answer. Okay, first of all, we will go into the enable command. Go to the PCA, enable. Okay, when we enter the enable command, we will go into from exec mode to privilege mode. Okay, when we run the show running command, show running -config, or in the short we can run show space run. So using this command we can check the all configuration of the router. It's a current configuration of the router. If we issue the command show running, okay, I just type show space run and hit the tab button, so it will complete the command, and hit the enter. We can check the all configuration of the router, like the interface name and the IP addresses configured on these interfaces, and the state of the interface, and all other interface information like this line information, console line and VTA line. Okay, now if we go to the questions, the first question is what is the router's host name? Okay, so if we go down, okay, so this one is the start. So we just run this show running config command from here, and if we go down, so this command hostname space router is actually the name of the router, the host name of the router. If we also can cross check from here, this one. So this one is the name of the router, the host name, and this command is used to specify this host name. So the host name of the router is simply router. So the answer will be router. The next question is, how many fast Ethernet interfaces does this router have? If we go down, these are the gigabit. We have to check the fast Ethernet. So these are the fast Ethernet. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, starting from 0 up to 3. So we have we have 4 interfaces for the fast Ethernet. So the answer will be the 4. The next one is how many gigabit Ethernet ports. So we have 2. If we go to the CLI 0/0 and 0/1, so we have 2 gigabit Ethernet interfaces. The next one is the serial interfaces, and these are 2 serial interfaces, 0/0 and 0/1, these 2 interfaces. Okay, the next is, what is the range of values shown in the VTI line? Okay, if we go down at the end of the configuration, so we can check the configuration of lines. So this one is for the console, this one is for the aux, and this one is for the VTI. So we have VTI 0 to 4. So the answer will be 0 up to 4. Okay, the next one is display the current content of the NVRAM. So NVRAM is used to save the configuration that will be used on the start of the router. So NV is a non-volatile random access memory. So the configuration we saved on the router will never lost because we saved in the NVRAM, but the configuration in the RAM will be lost. So when we issue the command copy running configuration to the startup configuration, so it will be saved into the NVRAM. So we have to check the startup configuration of the router. This startup configuration are saved in the NVRAM. So we have to check the NVRAM configuration. So we will issue the command show startup. If we want to check the RAM configuration, so we will issue the command show running configuration, like we just run before this on the step number 1. Okay, now if we run the command show startup config, and it said that there is no configuration at the startup. So we don't have any configuration. Why? Because we did not save any configuration to the RAM to display. This will be the answer. Okay, the part number 2 is to configure the VTI and the initial router configuration. Okay, in the part number 2, step number 1 is to configure the initial settings on the R1, and for this purpose, first thing is to configure the host name to the R1. To configure the host name, we will go into the configuration mode. So the command will be configure space terminal. Now you will see the prompt is changed. So we are in the global configuration mode. So any changes made in this mode, it will be reflect on the router. So we have to change the host name. The command will be host name space the name of the host. It will be R1. Okay, now this host name is changed from router to the R1. So this one is the command to change the host name. Okay, the next thing, is use the following passwords. We have to configure the password for the line console is this password. For the privilege mode, this one is the Cisco, and for the encrypted password is this one. So we will go step by step. The first one is the console password. For the console password, we have to issue the command line console 0, and the password is let me in. And after issue the password, we also have to issue another command, log in. So this login command will ensure that this password is enabled for the console 0. Okay, we just issue this line. The next one is we have to secure the privilege mode using the unencrypted password Cisco. So this one is we need to configure the enable password. So enable password, this password is unencrypted, and what is the password is Cisco. Okay, the same enable but encrypted, we will use the secret for part number 3. So now we are on the part number 3 of the point B, enable secret. So this password is unencrypted, this one is encrypted, and the password for this secret is ITS. It's a secret, SCCRET. Okay, now the next one step, part number 3 of this one is to encrypt all plain text passwords. For this purpose, we will issue the command service password encryption. So this command is used to encrypt the all plain text password. So the plain text password, this password we used here in the enable mode, so this will be encrypted. Okay, now the next one is message of the day. We have to use this message. Okay, to configure the message of the day, we have to configure the banner. So it will be banner, and banner MOTD, message of the day. Now we have to choose any special character, and then we will paste this text. I just copy this. Okay, now any character, for example, I will go with static, then I paste this text, then again I type the static. So this start of the static and end of the static will not be the part of this banner, but between these two statics, this text is the part of the banner. So after using the banner, just hit the enter. Now this banner is configured. Now the next is step number 2, verify the initial settings on the R1. So we will issue the command show running config, and here go back, show running config, and we need to verify the configuration. So we change the host name R1, this one is the host name. We configure the password for the enable mode, this one is the password. We configure Cisco, this password is encrypted. So because we issue the command service password encryption, this command. Okay, now the secret password, it's a secret, this one is also encrypted. Okay, the next thing, we configure the passwords on the line console, this one is encrypted. Okay, so we just verify the configuration. Now exit the current console session until you see the following message. Okay, the next step is we just exit. Okay, we see that R1, this one R1 console line 0 is available. Press enter to get start. Okay, we just hit the enter. Okay, now we see this message of the day message, and we see it asking for the password, and this password is for the line console 0. Okay, and we see this message, it asking for the password. Okay, why would every router must have a message of the day banner? Because it is warning for the unauthorized access to the users. Okay. If you are not able to prompt the password, what console line command did you forget to configure? Login. Okay, it is asking for the password because we configured the login command on the line console 0. Let me show you. It's asking for the password of the line console, and we configure the password. Let me in. Okay, and enable. For the enable, it's a secret. Okay, if we run the show running configuration again, so under the line console 0, we issue this command login. So this login command ensure that this password is working and active. So if we don't see this option to enter the password on the start, so we just need to make sure that this command is configured. Okay, the next one is enter the password, and we enter the password, we are in. Now, why would the secret enable secret password will allow access to privilege mode than the enable passwords? Okay, so in the step number here, so we configure two types of password for the enable command or privilege exit mode. One is unencrypted using the command password, and the other password was configured using the command secret. So this secret is encrypted by default, but this password is not encrypted by default. We encrypt this password using this command, service password encryption. Okay, now by default, if both are configured, so this secret will be take the priority. If this secret is not configured, we can use this unencrypted password using the password command, this command. So that's why when we hit the enter, we have to put the secret password because both are configured at the same time. So this will be the answer of this part D. The next one is if you configure any more password on the router, are they display on the configuration file as the plain text or in the encrypted format? It will be encrypted because we use the service password encryption command. Yeah, we configure this command in the step number 1, part number C. Here, we already configure this command, so all password in the plain text will be encrypted. Now the part number 3 is to save the configuration. So to save the configuration of the router from RAM to the NVRAM, we have multiple commands. Actually, it's a single one command, but we can use in the multiple ways. For example, the command is copy running configuration. Running configuration means from the RAM to the startup configuration. Startup configuration means NVRAM. So we can use this complete command, or we can use the copy run, or we can use write memory, or we can use the WR. So all these commands are doing the same thing. They are just copying the configuration from the RAM to the NVRAM, or we can say the running configuration to the startup configuration. So we are going to save the configuration. So copy running configuration to startup configuration, hit enter, and the destination file is the startup configuration, the same name. We will go with the default options, just hit the enter again. Now this configuration is saved, and with this configuration save, now this activity is complete, 80/80, and I can show you the other commands. For example, copy r space s. So r means the running configuration, s means the startup configuration, hit and we hit the enter. Okay, so this command actually is not working in the Cisco packet tracer. Packet tracers have limited capabilities. Let me try with the write memory. Okay, this write memory is working. The other command we can try wr. This one is also working. So wr write memory, copy r space s, or the complete command is copy running config space startup config. So these are the commands we can use. Okay, the which command displays the content of the NVRAM. So NVRAM actually save the configuration of the startup configuration. So we can use the command show startup configuration. Hit enter. So these are the configuration that will be load on the start of the router. If router lost the power, on the restart or the reboot of the router, this configuration will be load. On the reload of the router, we can see the router's host name will be the R1, the secret passwords, and then the VTI console passwords, and the banner we configure. Okay, so verify our parameters are configured, and we can check the results. And this one is configured. If we click on the check results, and congratulations, successfully complete. And if we click on the assessment items, so all items are configured 80/80. Okay, there is an additional bonus point that we can go with this one. So this one is we have to go into the flash memory, and we will issue the command show flash. And the question is how many files currently stored in the flash. So if we go back into the router CLI and we run the command show flash. Okay, so for now we can see there are 3 files in the flash memory starting from number 1 up to number 3. These 3 files. Okay, now which of these file will be guess the iOS file image? So iOS is actually the image of the router or the operating system of the router. Okay, so we can verify that these 2 files, the size is the first thing is the extension is .xml, and this file has the extension of .bin. So normally the Cisco router images are come with .bin file or .img. So this .bin is actually the image of the router or the operating system of the router. We can also another thing cross check the name, like this model like Cisco 1900. Normally this format is used for the Cisco routers, and some versions like 15.1.4 like this one. And the other thing is the length of the file. This one is the longer bits. This one is the larger file, so we can guess this one is actually the image file of the router. Okay, and this .bin file is actually the extension of the image file. So this one is actually the image of the router that is running on the Cisco router model. Okay, the next thing is save the configuration to the flash memory. So the simple command copy is the startup configuration, or we can use the running configuration. The question is save the startup configuration, so we will use the startup copy startup configuration into the flash. So if we type the question mark, so it is asking for the destination file. So we can use the flash FTP server, or we can use the TFTP server SCP. Okay, so we have to go with the flash. So flash and hit enter. Now the destination file name is the startup. We will go with the default option, so hit the enter. Now startup configuration is also saved on the flash, and if we check again show flash, now we will see there are now 4 files. Before it was 3. Now we also have another file that is the name of the startup config. We just saved the startup configuration to the flash memory. Okay, so yeah, we just verified that this configuration is saved on the flash memory. Yeah, so this part we just complete this activity. It's completed. Thank you for watching.